Maryland sports fans, there's only one sportsbook in the great state of Maryland with over 50 years experience booking bets and supporting customers. Betfred Sportsbook at Longshots is now open and is the only sportsbook in Frederick offering cash betting on football, basketball, world soccer, and more. Visit the Betfred Sportsbook at I-270 and MD-85 in Frederick, right next to Longshots off-track betting. Go to betfredsports.com for more information and your chance to win exclusive merchandise. Must be 21 or older. Play responsibly. For help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, perfect for seeing Taylor Swift The Eras Tour. Presented by Capital One. Ooh, I do love her. Earn 5 times miles on flights and 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel.
Enjoy your stay in Suite 13.
Whoa, 13? That's Taylor's lucky number. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Hey, it's Mistress Carrie, reporting for duty from MCHQ for episode 118 of the Mistress Carrie podcast. And before we get to this week's guest, singer James LaBrie from Dream Theater, I wanted to give you some details on Nick Mason's upcoming Saucerful of Secrets tour. The tour kicks off in Boston on September 22nd at the Schubert Theater. And there's a second New England date at the Providence Center for the Performing Arts in Providence, Rhode Island on September 25th. Tickets are on sale right now at saucerfulofsecrets.com. Or you could just click the link in the show notes of this episode. And here on the Mistress Carrie podcast and on the Pantheon Podcast Network, we're giving away an exclusive VIP experience to see Nick Mason's Saucerful of Secrets. You can enter to get front row seat upgrades. Head to pantheonpodcast.com/Nick Mason, find the link in the show description of this episode, or head over to the Pantheon Podcast social media pages to enter to win a pair of front row tickets, one very special commemorative guitar pick shaped necklace carved down from drum cymbals played by Nick Mason himself, a selection of curated exclusive VIP merchandise, a commemorative VIP laminate and lanyard, crowd-free shopping at a dedicated merchandise stand before the show, and a bunch of on-site perks like priority check-in, VIP express lane at the venue, and a dedicated customer service line. It's seriously the rock star treatment. You can enter right now to win. The link to buy your tickets to the Nick Mason Saucerful of Secrets tour and the link to enter the Pantheon Podcast VIP Experience contest are both in the show notes of this episode. This week, my guest is 3-time Grammy nominee and finally Grammy Award-winning singer James LaBrie from Dream Theater. Earlier this year, James released his 4th solo album, Beautiful Shade of Grey. And as Dream Theater was preparing to head to South America on tour, I sat down to talk to James about a lot of stuff. His musical influences and upbringing, going from being a drummer to a singer, his amazing concert memories as a kid, his songwriting process, touring, his thoughts after watching the Woodstock 99 documentary, inspirational lead singers like Freddie Mercury, taking care of his legendary voice, and I even asked him for some marriage advice, and a whole lot more. I've interviewed his bandmate and drummer Mike Mangini on episode 35 of the Mistress Carrie podcast, and it was hilarious to hear James talk about his drummer and his Boston ways. I've met James a few times in the past, but this was my first time to sit down and actually have a conversation, and he did not disappoint. So allow me to introduce you to James LaBrie from Dream Theater.
Hey, what's up? This is Sully from Godsmack. Strap on those boots, baby, because you are now in the trenches of the war room with the one and only Mistress Carrie right here on the Mistress Carrie podcast.
What's up? This is Joe Rogan, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Her hair so lovely, pretty eyes.
Hey, this is Brent from Shinedown, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie. Hey, Carrie, go put your bra on, girl.
Hey, this is Steven Tyler, and you be listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
What's up? This is Aaron from Stain, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Hi, everybody. This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, and you're listening to the one, the only,
Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is David from the band Disturbed. You're listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
Hi, Bruce Dickinson here from Iron Maiden. Yes, indeed, Miss Whiplash herself, Mistress Carrie, is here to unchain your brain.
Hi, this is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You're listening to Mistress Carrie.
This is Dennis Leary. You are listening to my favorite, Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is Corey from Stone Sour, and you have the privilege of listening to Mistress Carrie. Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
So, Mistress Carrie.
Good morning, James.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Great. Yeah.
I'm not sure if you remember when we met. I am like your drummer, a fellow and obnoxious Bostonian. And
obnoxious.
Am I wrong?
I like that. Oh my God. Okay, I'll have to tell him that.
He knows.
I'm seeing him in a few days. Oh my God.
You're the second member of Dream Theater that I've had on my show behind Mr. Mangini, who we're referencing.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Was he obnoxious?
Isn't he always? I've known him for 25 years.
God. Holy Jesus.
That's the thing I love about him the most. It's a regional thing, right? Like Canadians have the reputation of being like really nice and sweet.
Well, I got to correct you there, Mr. Carrie. Okay. This is what I think of Canadians. We're passive aggressive.
I have heard that, actually.
Yeah.
It's like the Southern version of bless your heart. It's kind of like that.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it. Because you know what? We're real nice if you respect us. But the moment you don't, look out. You'll see a transformation, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, for sure.
And we're just the crazy all the time here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? But a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Like Mike is hilarious. Like he's a funny guy, and he's always trying to do like a comedic type antics while we're on the road. And he kind of he entertains us. Let's just put it that way.
I think he's like an untapped energy resource too, because I feel like if we could harness the power of Mangini behind his drums the way that they harness the wind with a windmill, you could probably power the PA for Dream Theater.
Oh, PA. I was thinking the whole country. Oh my God. Yeah. No, he's got endless energy. That's for damn sure. He has to be playing what he's doing each and every night. It's insane.
You said you're going to see him in a few days because you guys are doing a South American run.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. We're heading down Sao Paulo on the 31st of August, and then September 2nd we're doing the Rock and Rio, which is huge. It's like 100,000 people. So
I've heard it's insane. I've never been, insane. But I've talked to so many bands that have played it, and they just said not only just a festival that size, but South American rock and metal fans are just so passionate.
Right. Oh, they are. Oh, they're unreal. It's you go out there, and I'm not kidding you. I'm not exaggerating. Well, first of all, the energy level, they're just all over the place. But the volume of their voices and that, it's incredible. You're just like turning around, you're looking at the other guys going, what? Are you guys hearing this? Yeah, we're hearing this. But I got to tell you, here's the thing. The largest crowd we ever played in front of, we did this festival in Poland. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called the Woodstock.
Yeah.
And they do it once a year. And what it is, it's a food drive. It's a charity event. So people bring all dry goods to this concert. We played in front of 750,000 people. And here's how we were able to put it into perspective. So we did that festival that day. The next day, we were in the Wacken festival in Germany with 75,000 people. And we said, this is 10% of the crowd. And we're still playing in front of 75,000. It was mind-boggling. As far as the eye could see, the people were going down.
The only experience I have with something like that is that I was at Woodstock 94 and 99. And the crowds weren't that big, but they were so massive and expansive that you just couldn't see where it ended.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Hey, I just watched the documentary on the 99.
Yeah.
You were there?
I was there, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Holy shit. You survived that?
Here's the thing, though.
Holy.
I went to 94, like backpacking in a tent kind of deal, right? The mud, like all of that stuff. And I'm a pretty prepared person.
Okay. Yep.
And so when 99 came around, we went with like the people from the radio station. We rented an RV, paid the money to stay in the RV park, and we brought in all our own food and water. We had just like you guys with the tour bus, we had a full tank of water. We had a generator. So we took showers. We had air conditioning. We had food. And so for me, and working at WAF at that time, I was used to those crazy late 90s new metal crowds, right?
Right.
Being in the middle of a corn pit was not abnormal for me because we broke all those bands.
Right. Okay.
So I didn't feel afraid. I feel bad saying that I had a great time.
Yeah.
Then you see those documentaries.
Because you had all the other amenities, right?
Yeah.
Whereas I'm looking at what everyone else pretty much was dealing with, and that's just wrong. You know, dehydration, no food.
Yeah.
Basically being in a cesspool.
Oh, yeah.
You know, for the most part. And I was, oh, my God, how did they get away with this? And first of all, who was well, whatever.
We know who was organizing it.
We do know. And I was just I didn't even know the depth of it until I watched that documentary.
I didn't either.
Hearing about it.
Yeah.
I remember when it was going down, they were talking about how this thing was just a train wreck, as they referred to it in the documentary. But I didn't really know the depth of it until I watched the documentary. And then I was like, oh, my God, I think I would have been out of there because I love festivals growing up, too. But I think I would have been out of there second day or something like that going, Jesus, I just need to clean up and friggin' eat and drink.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know.
Woodstock 94, it's kind of an interesting life lesson, right? That 94, everybody got wet early. Yeah, everybody got muddy. And everybody suffered together, and it created this brotherhood and camaraderie where everyone was just cool with it. Nobody was stealing from each other. Everybody was just cool.
Yeah, we're all in this together, for sure.
Yeah, and 99 had, the heat, the lack of water, all of that, and it just turned into rage.
Oh, sure.
Just
did.
Diametrically opposed. Yeah. I went to both.
Yes.
94 to me is still the best concert I ever saw.
Wow.
Like to finish up, like the rain stopped just in time for Peter Gabriel on a Sunday night. Wow. Like seeing all those bands, Nine Inch Nails throwing themselves in the mud, like all those iconic moments, Green Day with the sod. Like,
right.
It was such an unbelievable show.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, aside from everything else going on, but like you're saying though, you could accept that end of it. In 94.
Yeah.
It was nothing like...
No, it's Mother Nature. They couldn't do anything about the rain. Exactly. They couldn't shelter us from it.
Yep.
Speaking of that, what was the best show you ever went to as a fan?
Queen.
Really?
Queen. Yeah. I saw Queen. It was 82. And it was a place called the CNE Grandstand in Toronto. It doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. But it was a stadium, so there was about I think it held 40 or 50,000 people, and I just remember being out in the crowd and Queen coming on, and it was just mind-boggling. Like they were just so incredible, such high energy, and what was really cool at the end of the show, they laughed, they waved, and they get in the cars, and the whole stadium can see the motorcade pulling away. And we're thinking, okay, and everybody's just standing there, still screaming. And they actually turned around. They came back, came on stage, and they played another half hour. Yeah, it was amazing. But that's probably my fondest memory of going to see a show. And and then the other part that I still remember seeing an Aerosmith show in Toronto, and let's just put it this way: I don't even think the guys in the band knew that they were there. I just remember being out in the crowd going, "What the hell?" is going on here?
They didn't call them the Toxic Twins for nothing.
Oh my God, they were just elsewhere. Hey, great, Steven Tyler. Hey, I think he's incredibly talented and great vocalist, and he's proven himself over and over again. But those days, man, wow, I can't even. They probably just woke up and said, "Yeah, whatever, just point me to the stage, let's go."
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
And Queen's getting ready to come out with a song featuring Freddie Mercury that they had in the archives.
Oh my God, I didn't hear about this.
Yeah,
no way.
It's off of the. It was a leftover track from I think the
Made in Heaven,
the Miracle.
Oh wow!
And
going back there,
yeah, and they had it, and they didn't think they could do anything with it. They kind of said it was lost for a while, and it's supposed to come out in September. And
wow,
like an unheard Freddie Mercury Queen song.
That's amazing.
Like what?
That'd be incredible.
And it is kind of
I
amazing.
can't wait.
It shows you the way technology's changed.
Sure.
That that thing's probably recorded on 2-inch tape.
Oh, jeez.
And it took technology to catch up to be able to have them be able to do something with it.
Yeah, as long as they looked after that tape and it didn't oxidize or whatever, that time tends to put down on it. But yeah, I mean, wow, I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it's just it still blows my mind when I'm listening to Innuendo or when I'm listening to, like I said, Made in Heaven, and you knew then that something was going on, but nobody was saying anything. But then when you hear those albums and you find out that he was in fact sick and he sang the way he did,
I know.
What the hell was going on there? I remember reading one time where he was in the studio, and this was when he was getting near the end, and they were doing the Made in Heaven stuff, and that he went in, and I guess he was feeling really kind of not good, and he sucked back a thing of vodka, did a shot of vodka, and then he sang.
Whoa.
And he just knocked it out of the. So I'm thinking, how the hell would you even, at that stage be thinking, okay, I'll just, knock back a vodka here and I'm ready to go. But supposedly he was good for that. He could do that. He could just come in and have a little shot of vodka and sing like an angel. It was unreal.
The song's called Face It Alone, by the way. That's the name of the upcoming new Queen song.
Well, what's it called?
Face It Alone.
Face It Alone.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay.
So
I'm going to mark that.
You named two of these prolific, amazing rock and roll lead singers when you talk about like the best shows you've ever been to.
Yeah, sure.
And you're known for your vocal ability, right? Like you're talking about Freddie Mercury knocking back a shot of vodka and being able to sing. Like, but you started as a drummer. There are a lot of singers that started behind the drums.
Yes.
And then smartened up and said, I can't, that's working too hard?
I knew that I could only take it so far. Yeah, I guess you could say that. That's a good way to put it, is that I said, I realize I have way more talent and ability and capability in my singing, even at a younger age, than I do in my drumming. I mean, I was a solid drummer. I mean, when I was in a band, we were doing stuff like Zeppelin, and John Bonham, to me, is one of the greatest drummers out there ever. Now, was I doing them justice? I was probably doing them okay. I wouldn't say that I was doing like Moby Dick every night. There's no freaking way. But, I think that, I just knew that what I was taking from this, and I remember my father saying to me, he goes, it's great that you're playing the drums, even if you don't think that you're going to take it all the way. He said, the rhythmic sense that you're going to gain from this is immeasurable. And he said, so do it as long as you can, or as long as you want, but take from it everything you can. And then I go into a band like Dream Theater.
We've worked with arguably like, and the best drummers in the world.
Right, exactly. So, I just, it's something that I'm glad that I fell into. I started playing drums when I was 5. And then I quit around 17. I started putting the drums down. My son plays, and he gets behind the drums, and he's a great drummer. And one day he asked me to get back there. Okay, so you have to think of this, Mr. Scary. I hadn't picked up a drum stick probably in, I don't know, probably at that point 20 years. And he says, yeah, just get back there. And I thought I was going to get back there and just start going. I was horrible. And he said to me, he said, Dad, get off.
Get off the throne,
Get off
old
that
man.
throne. He says, are you kidding? I said, I'm blown away here. I can't believe how bad I am right now. He goes, well, maybe if you sat down for a month, it would all come back. And I said, I'm sure a lot of it would, but I'm not willing to do that.
So when did you realize you could sing?
I started singing when, seriously, I'd be walking around the house. I remember my mom and dad telling me at around 4 or 5, they'd always have a radio going, and I'd always just stand there. They had this big radio in the kitchen, and I'd just stand there and I'd sing along with songs. And then when I was in school, elementary school, we had a music teacher, and I still remember her name, Miss Montgrain, and she actually approached my parents and said, I have the students together and we do like this choir thing, and my first name is Kevin, right? She just said, Kevin has a beautiful voice. We should take this, cultivate it, and see where we can go with it. And she started putting me in contests, singing. And then at that point, I just kept going. And then at 10 years old, I formed my first rock band, but I was playing drums. So I was the drummer and lead vocalist. And I just kept going from there and just started listening to all my heroes, like one of them being, like we just said, Freddie Mercury, and then Steve Perry, Lou Gramm from Foreigner. I even loved Rod Stewart because I thought he had this unique, gravelly but high voice. And then it goes on. Steven Tyler, and Rob Halford I was listening to a lot, and so all these guys, I'd always kind of gravitate towards singers that I thought they had created their own sound, and that to me was very, very important. And actually getting back to my father again, because my father sang in barbershop quartet and all this stuff. And he said the same thing. He said, whatever you do, he says, I'm listening to you sing, because I'd always go up into our upstairs bathroom because it was big and it had that big cavernous kind of sonics to it.
I sound good in the bathroom when I sing in there.
Well, there you go. See, so if you ever record an album, do it from the bathroom.
It's never going to happen.
You'll be great. You'll be great. But anyway, so that, and he just said, I hear what you're doing, and I hear how you sing to these other singers and that. And it sounds great, but just create your own sound. And I said, yeah, absolutely. That is key.
Did you always journal? When did the writing start?
Well, I was writing when I was in bands when I was like 14, 15. So, I'd start getting into lyrics and writing lyrics and then just riffs. But I didn't play guitar, so I'd be like, tung, 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 tung. Actually, a lot of the stuff that I'll write, even in my solo albums, that's how I communicate it to the guitar player or keyboard player, whoever I'm working with at the time. Just even on this last solo album, Beautiful Shade of Grey, that I just released, that's what I was doing with Paul Logue, my writing partner. I would just send him either melodies, me just singing something off the top of my head, and I go, I got this, I think it sounds really cool, can you write something around it? And then he'd come back, and then we keep building it from there. Or I just send him actual riffs, and just me going, dan, 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 whatever, and it works. So yeah,
I interview a lot of guitar players and a lot of songwriters, and everybody kind of has that different process, right? Some people write the lyric first, and they get these little phrases, and they keep them like journaled, or they type them in their phone.
For sure. Yeah.
And then there's the riff singing people that are are using that phone as a way to kind of document these ideas.
Yeah.
But
my process has always been, Carrie, it's always been that I go first the melody, I create the melody, and then I create the lyric, because I find that the melody, you have your syllables, so everything it's kind of set in stone, so exactly where you want to go, and then the words kind of present themselves.
How do you decide an idea that you get, a melody idea in your head? How do you decide this is Dream Theater or this is going to go on my solo record?
It's usually something that I've come across that I found very poignant, and or something that is inspiring. It could be as easy as me watching a movie and then saying, "Oh my God, maybe I'm going to go back from that and I'm going to write down certain things from that movie that have affected me," or reading a book, or just a lot of it comes from the social aspects of our world, just watching, analyzing, observing, even being around friends and that, or in a public place where you hear or you see people, how they interact, or you hear a certain couple word, like we were just saying there a little bit earlier. I'll hear a phrase, somebody will say something, but it's the way that they worded it, and I'll go, "Oh, wait a minute, that's interesting." I could say the same thing, but I wouldn't have used those words to describe it, and then I'll write it down. So there's several different, I guess, fields that I pull from that really create the words. Yeah,
I'm fascinated by the concept of songwriting, because you're creating something from nothing.
Right. That's the magic of music.
Yeah,
but it comes from,
but you're doing it having been exposed to thousands of examples of other people having already done it, and finding a way to make it original and different.
Yeah.
I don't understand it because I can't do it.
Right,
but being surrounded by people that can do it, I'm so curious about how the craft works.
Right. Well, you know what? To a certain extent, it's almost beyond explanation. It's inexplicable. Like that, you just arrive. To me, and it's funny because Paul and I were talking about this. Paul Logan and I were talking about this. Once we had created all the songs, and I said, "You ever think about how this materializes? It's something that you've felt or you heard inside, or it comes from an emotion. It could be as simple as you having had a conversation with someone and biting your tongue during the conversation, going, I know differently, but I don't want to do this because I'll embarrass them or insult them."
That's also a skill set I don't have.
see, but okay. So, but then again, but let's put it from that angle. How about you voicing your opinion could also create a song about someone having all the confidence in the world and being able to forge through any adversarial moments because of who you are, because you're like that.
Yeah.
That creates a story too that you could be told, that confidence gets you further in life. Well, look what you do, right? I mean, not everybody can do that, can sit back where you are, have conversations, keep everything interesting and intriguing, and be doing something that you love to do, which also stems from what? Music.
Yeah.
I think that there's so many stories to be told, because there's so many similarities about us, but there's also that individuality that makes us, each and every one of us, so unique.
Leslie Mandoki told me that he thinks that all the songs exist already, and that you guys are the vessels of them, that they come through you. I thought that was
I want to meet the composers, then the real composers.
Right?
If I'm only a vessel, what the hell? That just took all the wind out of my sails. I'm sorry. What the hell?
Well, you got to be a very special vessel.
I'm closing off this one here, right here. This receptacle's gone. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was a really interesting theory.
Yeah, that is interesting. It just tells you that, okay, there is a multi-dimension then. If you're to believe something like that, that means that there's something beyond our comprehension that exists.
Yeah.
Which I do believe to a certain degree, because no one has the definitive answer as to what awaits.
Right.
But yeah, I just think it's beyond our thought processing at this particular moment in time. Yeah.
I always ask songwriters this question. This is a craft question. It's a construction question.
Yeah.
Give me an example from any artist, any genre, that is inconsequential, of a song that you think is so perfectly crafted that you wish you wrote it, and then tell me why. Like an example of perfect songwriting.
Hotel California.
Good one.
I think, everybody can say ad nauseum, man. I've heard that song 1 billion times. Okay, sure you have. But try and and this happened to me, I think, I don't know, a little while ago. And it happened to come on and play. And I remember just really sinking into this song. And first of all, the lyrics are great. The whole storyline behind that. Don Henley, what a freaking voice. There's another guy,
Singing drummer, yep.
Right. And phenomenal voice, just beautiful tone, like gorgeous, gorgeous tone. And then the guitar solo. I still think to this, okay, so the melodies, the harmonies that are going on, just the whole arrangement, the song arrangement, it's just beautiful, just beautifully crafted. But then to top it all off is the guitar solo. And it's one of the greatest guitar solos. If you listen to that guitar solo from beginning to end and just where he brings it, how it just continues to breathe and grow. It's so dynamic, so moving, so emotional. So to me, right off the top of my head, I'm going to say that song touches on every level of brilliance. It really is a brilliant song.
I'm going to selfishly ask you a couple questions for some advice from you.
Okay, well, hey, I can't guarantee what's going to happen to that. That's not good.
First set of advice, you can obviously tell just by hearing my voice that I'm not a singer.
That's not true.
But I do use my voice for my work. So that's really the only similarity that I have with what you do is that my voice is my job.
Okay.
So how do you take care of your voice? What are you doing to make sure that you're able to play show after show, tour after tour, go into the studio when you've got a limited amount of time to record these songs and make sure that you're not overtaxing your voice and you're taking care of it? And I know that you've had some issues in the past, like the food poisoning thing, like all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I ruptured my voice.
Yeah.
No fun. No fun. Yeah. Okay, so Carrie, do you mind if I just say Carrie or would you, Mistress Carrie?
Yeah, no, you're fine.
I love that though, Mistress Carrie.
The listeners named me that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, here's where I come from. I make damn sure while I'm on tour that I abstain from alcohol, so I don't have anything to do with drink, and I eat a lot of fruit and vegetables. Every night after the show, I'll sit down and eat cauliflower, broccoli, fennel, and hummus. And I drink copious amounts of water while I'm on tour. Everybody in the band or crew will attest to that. They can't believe how much water I drink, but I think it's essential. It keeps everything lubricated and even your organs, so to speak, everything that exists. So I do that. I exercise. I'm actually working right now with a personal trainer and just to keep myself in shape. And I think the other thing is that even though I've been around a lot of other singers and I don't smoke for that. I do have the odd cigar, believe it or not, which is kind of like contradictory. But
you got to live your life too.
Pardon me?
You got to live your life too.
Well, you do, right? And so when I'm home, I enjoy red wine. I enjoy scotch. And, like I said, the odd cigar here and there. But I think too is that when I'm so I have this thing. I studied with Jamie Vendera for a bit, and he has this thing called the Doc Vox, and it's this thing that you put water in. It has lines from 1 to 10 for the water volume. I don't think you'd ever go to 10 because it would just be too much. But I go around number 5. I put the water, and it's actually this. You blow into it, and it creates this like a bubbling kind of thing that goes on. And what it does is it massages your vocal cords and it loosens them up and it brings them online. And there's been people that have had polyps. I've never, knock on wood, I've never had polyps or nodes or anything like, which is kind of amazing because of all the singing that I've done and the constant touring that I've done and, doing so many damn shows. And these shows are 2 and 3 hours long that we're doing. So this thing called DocVox, and it actually really brings me to a point where I come online and I warm up very, very slowly before every show. And then I do a cool down after every show. And this ensures that my voice does not become fatigued. Now, if I get sick while I'm on the road, well, then that's a whole other story. That's like, that's a battle to go on stage and still be able to give everything that I got, but knowing that it's not going to be anywhere near where I'd like to be. But you still got to go out there and do it because rock and roll, freaking let's go. But all those things add up. So, plenty of rest too. Oh my God. I get a lot. I make sure that I'm going to at least get 8 hours sleep a night. And if that means staying in bed for 10 hours in order to feel like I got 8 hours, then I'm going to do so. And like I said, like just getting up and exercising, getting on the treadmill, lifting weights, doing stuff like that really keeps everything even keel. And that's about it. Warming up properly, cooling down properly, and just really looking at this going, I only have these chords. I'm not a guitar player. I can't change my guitar strings, or I'm not a drummer. I can't get new skins or new drumsticks. So it's just something that, and it's funny though, Carrie, because I've been on the road where we've had, bands opening up for us and singers and some of them, I'll see them and they're just like
throwing it to the wind,
partying. And then 2 weeks into the tour, they come to me like, James, man, my voice is like, it's really kind of screwed up and I'm having difficulty. I'm like, dude, I've been watching you for like freaking 2 weeks. You're like a party animal and you're smoking. And then you got to go on stage and sing every night. What do you think is going to happen? That's your instrument, It's like a guitar player taking a fucking hammer to his guitar. Does that make sense to you? It's just I'll tell you one guy that we were out touring with, and I think this guy's he blew my mind, Carrie, was Devin Townsend.
Oh,
do you know
really?
Devin?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So this guy's so talented. Like he's just he's a fellow Canuck too, by the way. He's out in Vancouver. But he would go on, like, he plays guitar and that, and he would sing. And the guy's warm-up process, first of all, we know each other, and he came out, he goes, James, man, hey man, you sound great, man, I'm watching you side stage, awesome. And I'm going, dude, I said, Devin, you're sounding freaking amazing. And I said, how do you get away with warming up like you do? And it's really crazy, Carrie. So like he'll like, and he's like, and doing all that, that makes sense. Okay, you do that. That makes sense. But at the end, he's like, and he does these fucking screams, and he's just screaming his head. I'm like, yeah. And I remember the first day I heard that, I was like, what are you doing? He's like laughing. He looks over at me. He goes, I didn't think you'd like that. I go, well, I don't get it. It doesn't add up. And he's like, it does for me. It's worked for me forever. And I go, well, then if it works, don't fix it.
Yeah.
And he's able to go out on stage and he sounds freaking amazing. Nice guy too. Really, really cool, down to earth guy. But yeah, I'd never heard anything like that before. Like even if, because he even said the same thing. He goes, you know what? It's actually nice to be around a vocalist like yourself that I hear warms up every night, cools down, looks after himself. He goes, I don't hear that. Most of the other bands that I'm around, they're just like, they go on stage and they wonder why they're having difficulty. I go, oh, yeah, there you go.
And if you want to have longevity and career, you've got to get into those good habits early.
Exactly. But yeah. So I mean, those are that's pretty much what I do.
You're one of the only other people I can ask this question to because it's such an enigma question. So I asked this question of Alice Cooper.
No, I can't guarantee I'll be able to answer it.
I asked this question of Alice Cooper, and I asked it of Dee Snider, because you guys have some of the longest marriages in rock and roll. And I'm a newlywed. Yes. I got married in the height of COVID. So,
you did?
Yeah.
Oh, well, congrats.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay.
So, two-part question. One, is it harder to keep a marriage or a band together? And two, give me some marriage advice, because you've been married a long time.
Yeah, I will have been married 33 years in September.
Wow.
Yeah. My high school sweetheart. Yeah. Holy jumping Joe. Okay. So
that was
there
the most
you go.
Canadian
There's
thing
your
you've
advice,
said all
Carrie.
day.
Everybody's out there. What the hell did he just say?
Holy jumping Joe.
Holy jumping Joe, eh? There's their Canadian for you. But I would say, and yeah, you're right about Alice Cooper and Dee Snider. Two freaking great guys, two very intelligent.
Yep.
My God. But to put it this way, I don't know. I think it would come down to the individuals as far as keeping a marriage together. It's all about compromise. It's all about understanding. It's all about definitely 100% first and foremost respect. You have to respect one another and appreciate one another. And yeah, you're going to go through your lows, your highs, and everyone has these moments of even consternation I can think of, where you're like, what the hell's going on here? But I would say that those points are the most important, is that you have to be willing to compromise. You have to be willing to be extremely understanding, respectful, compassionate, and caring, considerate. As far as a band goes, once again, it comes down to the individuals, their personalities. And I've said this several times, Carrie, in a lot of interviews. I've said, you got to think about, when you are married, that's one person that you're dealing with, and that you want to get to know intimately. And through the years, you do. I would hope you do. And then, but I said with band members, however many band members you have, that's how many people you have to figure out, and you have to come to an understanding, because we all have our idiosyncrasies. We all have our good points and our bad points, and and it's a little bit of a whirlwind. And I think that's why a lot of bands don't stand the test of time, is because we're all coming from a different place, and at times you have some huge freaking head banging going on, and it's not behind the sense of a song. It's just these personality conflicts, and then you're also in a creative environment, right? So that in itself is a very sensitive situation to be in, and you have to be respectful, and at times doesn't, and very diplomatic, because if you don't like something that somebody's presenting, you don't just go, oh, dude, that sucks.
No, because it's coming from their soul.
Insulting. Yeah, exactly. So you have to be, no, you know what? I'm not vibing, or I'm not hearing it. I don't feel it. I'm sorry. Can we try another angle, or can we approach that a little differently? Let's kind of, twist and bend it, or whatever, to get around it, because yeah, it's just difficult. So I would definitely say that band, I think with marriage, I would hope that you're worried about the repercussions if you don't smarten up. With band, yeah, there are repercussions, but at the end of the day, it's like, if you can't really stand being around that person, you do have the option to go, right?
Yeah.
So so there's my advice.
You can't kill them, so you got to figure it out.
You can come damn close to that, though. Holy shit. But no, it's all good.
Well, it's obviously working for you guys. Congratulations on the Grammy.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, that's what the hell happened there, right?
I heard that they show up in a box. Did they mail them to you?
Yeah, they did, actually. Yeah, I have it. I have it upstairs. Yeah, it's really well package, though.
I bet
Holy
it is.
smokes. Yeah, I think you could drop that off the Empire State Building and you still open it up. Yeah, that's good. All right, just set it up. Yeah, it takes a while. It's like, okay, get out the cable cutters. You know.
See, I always thought you left the ceremony with the Grammy, but you don't.
No. You have to wait. I think it was 3 months after the ceremony that I received mine. And then everybody started getting it the same week because we were all like, "Hey, did you get yours?" "Yeah, I got mine." Or, "No, I haven't got mine yet." But it was within days we all had ours. Yeah.
And then you have to decide where to put it.
Well, and we're still deciding that. It's just like, she goes, "Well, what do you want? You want people to open a door and bang it's right in their face?" I said, "Well, we could do that. We could hang it from the ceiling." But no, still deciding. I don't know, because it's such a monumental recognition that I don't want to just put it over there in the, that nice little corner piece.
Put it on the back of the toilet.
Throw it in there. Well, nobody's gonna see it unless they're going for something, But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'll send you a pic when we have it set up properly.
That's what I was gonna say. Like,
it might be 6 months.
You could get the Dream Theater lighting guy to come up with a lighting rig for it.
Yeah, Steve Baird. We'll get him in here. Come on, Steve. Make it happen. Make
Lasers,
it a shrine.
LED screens behind it.
Oh my God! Can you imagine?
That would be amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like a museum. Yeah.
Well,
for sure.
You got the South American dates with Dream Theater, and then obviously, Beautiful Shade of Grey is out now, and so people can hear that side of you as well with the solo record too. So you're a busy guy.
I am busy, and I'm already working on new songs with the follow up to Beautiful Shade of Grey. So we're working on that, and but I mean, we're taking our time. Like I said, there's no pressure from the label. "Oh, we need this out," so it'll be done when it's done. But yeah, I think it's important for anybody, any artist or anybody in the world, just to keep challenging yourself. With Beautiful Shade of Grey, it was something completely different from what I'd ever done in my entire career, musically speaking. And I'm glad I did it because, it had been kind of in the recesses of my mind thinking, I want to just do something that's acoustically based and just really let that be the forefront, and it'll allow for a lot of breathing within the songs, and really allow me to, as a vocalist, to be able to show many other different sides to me.
Well, a lot of songs get crafted on acoustic, and then they make them electric, but they don't always stay that way.
That's right. And, the example I always use when we were first approaching this album and then during the writing is I said, think Zeppelin. You could take any Zeppelin song and play it acoustically and still appreciate its beauty and its depth. And I said, but then you could play it electric and go, oh my God, this is, it's so powerful. So that was kind of our go-to and our blueprint, so to speak. But yeah, so, it's good to keep challenging. And I think that's the only way that we grow is that, we're willing to go into uncharted waters,
I heard someone say that it's how you test if a song is really good, is that if you can strip it down to acoustic and it's still a good song.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. If you need all of this, this layering going on and I don't know, something to dissuade from the fact that it sucks, I don't know. And there's a lot of examples of that out there. But I think that you're right. If it comes down to that, you could be just sitting out in your backyard strumming your guitar, and then somebody goes, "The hell is that? That's so cool," But yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It was nice to see you.
I loved it. Thank you, Carrie.
It's been nice to be able to reconnect with everybody after all the craziness after the last couple of years,
What a freaking trip that was. Huh?
We've all been put through the ringer, and it's nice to be able to go to shows.
Yeah.
And
how about just being around people?
Yeah.
You know?
But it was what I missed the most. I think it hit rock fans a lot more than it hit a lot of other music fans, is that we missed that communal experience of the freaks getting together to be able, I call it the land of misfit toys, that we don't make sense with anyone else but us.
Isn't that humanity?
Yeah.
Right? But you're right. No, it feels great. And I mention that every night when I'm on stage, is I say, you know, hey, we're here to celebrate two things. And that is, yes, we're celebrating music and the magic of music once again, and we're together. And I said, but the human spirit, I said, look how resilient we are. We're here. Yes, a lot of tragedy. We've experienced a lot of tragedy, but at the same time, here we are. We're together once again, and we're moving forward. And that's really what matters here tonight. And everyone responds, like you can just see it.
Oh, yeah. We're just happy to be able to, leave everything else at the door and just all be in that moment with the music together. And that's what it's all about for all of us. That's why we love what we do.
Yes, indeed. Agreed, for sure.
Well, thank you so much. It was nice to see you.
Same here.
And happy anniversary if I don't see you before then.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're
and
welcome.
Congrats on the marriage.
Thank you.
Yeah. What was the actual date?
August 29th. So my anniversary is coming up too. 2 whole years. I got a lot of catching up to you guys.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yep.
Yeah. All you want is for it to be right and just to feel that undeniable connection, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Our biggest argument is music, because he's a country music fan, and that hurts my soul. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it, but
You know what you should do is you should freak him out one morning, okay? So just come downstairs, have the cowboy boots on, and the cowboy hat.
You're literally tapping
You're
into
gonna
his
tell him
brain
this,
right
he's gonna
now.
go, you tell James the next time you see that. F off.
Are you kidding? He'd probably love it. Piece of straw in my teeth, Daisy Dukes on.
Oh my God. Yeah. See, you don't know where that'll go.
I know. This
right?
interview
There
just
you
took
go.
a totally different turn.
Oh my God. Okay, cool.
I'll see you later. Thank you so much.
Okay, take care. Okay,
Have
bye-bye.
a good one. Bye.
You too. Bye.
There he is, the one and only James LaBrie from Dream Theater. His latest solo album, Beautiful Shade of Grey, is available everywhere. And thank you, James, for the tips on taking care of this velvety voice that I have, and also on the marriage advice. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to hit subscribe and follow the Mistress Carrie podcast. New full-length episodes come out every Wednesday. Plus, every weekday, you get the Sit Rep. The Situation Report runs down all of the day's headlines in rock, entertainment, music, and more. And it only takes 5 minutes. Check out the show notes of this episode to get details on Nick Mason's Saucer Full of Secrets tour and to enter the Nick Mason Pantheon Podcast VIP contest. You'll find all of James LaBrie's links there, all of Dream Theater's links, and all the Mistress Carrie links as well. And you'll find the corresponding playlist for this episode. Every full-length episode gets a corresponding playlist that's filled with my guests' music and all of the music we referenced in the interview. And there's also a link to episode 35, so you can check out the interview with Dream Theater drummer Mike Mangini. Join me every Tuesday night live on my official Facebook page for my streaming video show, Cocktails in the War Room. And you can always check out the Mistress Carrie radio show. The Mistress Carrie Podcast, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network.
Maryland sports fans, there's only one sports book in the great state of Maryland with over 50 years experience booking bets and supporting customers. Betfred Sportsbook at Longshots is now open and is the only sportsbook in Frederick offering cash betting on football, basketball, world soccer, and more. Visit the Betfred Sportsbook at I-270 and MD-85 in Frederick, right next to Longshots off-track betting. Go to betfredsports.com for more information and your chance to win exclusive merchandise. Must be 21 or older. Play responsibly. For help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, perfect for seeing Taylor Swift the Eras Tour. Presented by Capital One. Ooh, I do love her. Earn 5 times miles on flights and 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel.
Enjoy your stay in Suite 13.
Whoa, 13? That's Taylor's lucky number. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.